I was in such a bad state that I thought I'd only be able to eat beef for the rest of my life. It even got that bad, I reacted to water. So when I first started on the carnivore diet, I thought, yes, this diet makes complete and utter sense. I'm removing everything out that would irritate. All the fibers, all the sugars, all the processed garbage, the seed oils. This felt like my last ditch attempt to really find what I've been searching for many years, which was a natural healing process. But at the time, what I didn't realize is that it was leading me down a path to being in a mental prison of only being able to eat just beef. So as you do, you get excited about starting a new diet. I know, I was thrilled. I've been researching the carnivore diet for months because I knew that I was going to start it as soon as the stress finished that year, because there was a massive event that went off. I thought, you know what, I am going to really focus in on getting this diet on point. The day came when the stress was over, and the following day, this is the time I'm going to start this diet. So I went to the shop, I bought all the meat that I was going to have, so I bought a few bits of chicken. I mainly bought minced beef. There was this minced beef packet, cheap. It was, I don't understand this, like the cheapness of this was amazing, because you get the 5% minced beef and it's so expensive, but this was 25% and it was cheap as fuck. It was like £2.29 per packet. I thought, yes, that is exactly what I need. Keep this diet really cheap. It's got loads of fat in it and it's just beef. So I thought, fantastic. So the day that I decided to start, I stopped all medication. So at the time I was on vendolizumab, which is basically the doctor's cure, as they told me. This is the thing that's going to get you into remission. So I was taking that because the stressful event, if I did end up having a bit of a flare up, at least then that would kind of reduce the amount of symptoms that I had. So I was using it as more of a symptom management tool. Come to the day, it was the 18th of August, 2023. I'm sat there like, yes, let's do this shit. Rang up a doctor, told him I'm stopping all medication. I was like, I'm not taking this shit anymore. He was like, I don't want you to do that. I was like, tough shit, I'm fucking doing it. Then, that morning, I had a cooked packet of minced beef. So what I did was I literally just broke it up, fried it up, pulled it onto my plate, put some salt on it, started eating away. I thought, this tastes amazing. I'm ready for this. Every day after that, I was eating, obviously, bits of chicken, butter, and this minced beef. It wasn't long before I thought, you know what, I'll just stick to the minced beef because I actually prefer that. So I had that and butter. And then it must have been probably about 6-8 weeks later, I thought, you know what, I fancy something a bit different. So I got myself some chicken thighs. Didn't think anything of it. Sat down, started eating them. Within the space of probably about an hour, I had some reactions. Now, this wasn't the typical UC reaction, so I didn't have any blood, no urgency, no mucus. But it was more the fact I got a bit of headaches. I got a bit of brain fog. I got a bit of joint pain. I was thinking, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense at all. So I kind of thought, well, is my UC not healed? So this is when I decided to go really strict. I actually found about the lion diet. So I was pretty much there already because I was eating meat, beef, minced beef and butter. So I decided to remove the butter out of my diet. I thought, well, maybe it's the butter that's kind of, still causing these symptoms and everything else. So I removed everything and carried on eating minced beef, salt and water. And I did that for a few more months. I thought, right, okay, now I'll add something back in. So then that's when I maybe got some bacon. I thought, I'll try this. You know what, I fancy some bacon. Really crispy, lovely, salty bacon. And it happened again. I ate this food and it gave me these reactions. Headache, joint pain, a bit of congestion in my nose. And I thought, what's going on here? I don't understand why this is happening. I wonder if it's my UC again that's messing up. I wonder if it's my UC that's not fully healed. So once again, I went to eating minced beef, salt and water. And it must have been months and months and months later, I thought to myself, you know what? I want to have some quail eggs. And the reason I thought about that is because at the time I was raising quails. I thought, you know what? I want to be able to be self-sufficient, and I want to be able to have like fresh eggs. So I've got my chickens. At least with the quail, what I could do is kill them and eat them, and I'll have the eggs as well. So I thought, fantastic. I remember searching on Google thinking, where can I get quail egg from? Where can I get? Online, they're quite expensive, or you end up having to buy such a massive amount. So I looked into it and people were selling them like 36 or whatever, and I only wanted a few just to see if I'd react. There's no point buying all these eggs if I couldn't. So I remember finding, oh look, Marks and Spencer's do them. And it was about a 30-minute drive away, so I got in car. I'll ask her like, what are you doing? I'm just going to get some quail eggs. She's like, you put them miles away. Why are you driving all that distance just to get some quail eggs? I said, yeah, but if I'm raising quail, I need to know if I can actually eat them or I'm going to react to them. I got in the car, started driving there, managed to obviously get there and everything else, and I thought, right, let's find these eggs. You can get them, they come in a box of 12. I was excited. I thought, yes, I'm not going to be able to react to these. I'm going to literally get home, eat these fucking quail eggs, and I'm going to enjoy it, and it's going to be fantastic because all I've eaten is minced beef, salt and water for so long. What did I decide to do? Not just have one or two or three. I thought I'm going to have the whole box. I thought to myself, if I want to have a reaction, I want to make sure I have a reaction, which was probably the stupidest thing you possibly fucking do. So I'm like, right, fried up all 12 of them, sat down and ate them. This was the worst reaction I've ever had on the carnivore diet. So I started eating them. Within 10 minutes of finishing, I had such a massive headache. I mean, like, it was horrendous. Then I started to get really bad, dry, itchy eyes, and I thought, oh, this doesn't make sense. Then my nose got congested. Oh, this is a reaction. Half an hour later, that's when I had a massive reaction. I had joint pain, my stomach got upset. A couple hours later, I ended up, obviously, shitting loads. I had a really bad upset stomach. I thought, oh, I must be allergic to eggs. I can't eat eggs. What's going on? I've never had a reaction like this before. I used to be able to eat chicken eggs. I wonder if I can't eat quail eggs. And everything then were going off, and I was getting more and more stressed, more and more antsy, and I was getting more and more like just frantic, which obviously made it worse. So then I thought, what the fuck's going on? This one, I went on a massive researching, binge, and thinking, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Then I obviously got on ChatGPT asking, I gave it all the symptoms that I had. What could it be? And ChatGPT said it could be a histamine reaction. And I thought, fucking hell. All this time that I've had these reactions to all these different foods, very similar, but just not as bad, and not the stomach upset. It could have been histamine. That's got to be it. That's what it is. It's because of histamine. Because I've only been eating beef, salt and water, which is the least histamine food that you can get, it must be the fact of this histamine. And then I found out about, obviously, how to reduce the amount of histamine, what certain things like DOAs, enzymes, which is basically something that you take while you're eating, which reduces the amount of histamine that's in your system. Then I tried other stuff, quercetin. I tried all these other different supplements to help with histamine reactions. So I'd be able to eat foods that I could not, well, that I used to be able to eat, but now I can't because it was the histamine. I thought, right, this has got to be it. I started taking the DOAs, started taking the quercetin, and they didn't fucking work. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's not histamine, maybe it's something else. Started researching even more, started going down the fucking rabbit holes of other things. Found out about the gut microbiome. I thought, oh, I wonder if it's because I've got an imbalance of bacteria, and because I'm eating that, it's kind of like reacting in my stomach, a bit like histamine, but it's actually not, it's my gut bacteria. So there was me, frantically searching, frantically trying to find the solution, stressing myself out, really wondering what it was. And after that reaction, that's when things really started to spiral. So I was having basically my minced beef fried. I was making it into burgers, and then I was being able to fry it, and then I started eating it. And at the time I thought, you know what, if I'm only able to eat beef, I'll try different things. So I started adding in different things. So I bought myself some chuck roll. Chuck roll is just a massive portion of meat, and I just literally chopped it up into steaks and whatever else I was doing with it. And I was frying that. Then after a couple of days, I started to get a bit of these reactions to beef. I thought, well, this doesn't make sense. So I started speaking to ChatGPT again. I thought, I've been able to eat this food now for absolutely ages, this minced beef, and I'm reacting to it. What's going on? Well, it could be the fact that because you're frying it, what it's doing is oxidizing the fat in it, so that could be causing a bit of a reaction. The best thing to do is have it slow cooked. So then this beef, I was literally putting a pan of water, minced beef in a pan of water with a bit of salt. Isn't the most nicest, let's put it that way. So I was slow cooking it, and then I started reacting to that. I was thinking, what the fuck's going on here? This doesn't make sense. Then I was just obviously looking more into it and everything like that. Within a couple of days, I started to react to water. I was literally drinking some water and I'd have these reactions and I'm thinking, fucking how does this make sense? I'm drinking water. Why am I having joint pain? Why am I having these like histamine type reactions to water? I've never ever had a reaction to water before. This was my rock bottom moment. I thought I had been in clinical remission for so long. And I had been. The definition of clinical remission is obviously no mucus, no blood, no urgency. The only time that I had some of the symptoms of urgency was with these quail eggs. But it wasn't the actual quails that was causing the reaction. So there's me thinking, okay, well, this diet isn't right for me. I'm still reacting to stuff. I'm still thinking, okay, well, maybe I'm not in remission. And then that's when I stumbled across the German New Medicine mind and body concept. And this talks about obviously trauma, talks about food triggers, talks about how we create this reaction inside of our own minds. Now, obviously you look at it and you think, yeah, whatever, this is a load of fucking hocus pocus. What you're trying to tell me is that my mind's causing all this. That's a load of shit. But I'm here to tell you now, if it wasn't for finding that, I would have still been reacting to all these foods. And I say that because I wasn't taking control of the thoughts I was having before and after eating this food. So the build up until when I had the quail eggs, I wasn't acknowledging the fact of the fear around the food that I was eating. So because I thought, okay, I'm kind of deviating slightly from the path and eating a bit of chicken, a bit of bacon, a bit of this, and think to myself, I've been in such a good state. I haven't had any mucus, I've had no blood, I've had no urgency, and I actually feel pretty damn good. I hope this food doesn't react. So obviously, you've already put that fear and that anxiety, that emotional trigger there. So you eat it, and then you're constantly thinking about it. Even if you don't necessarily consciously think about it, you're definitely subconsciously thinking about it, thinking, oh, I wonder if this is going to react. I wonder how that's going to digest. I wonder if this is going to put me back in a flare. I wonder this, I wonder this. Because you've already built that fear and that anxiety around the food itself, you kind of already doomed it. You've already told that your brain that this food here, you need to be on high alert. It's basically like a patrolman. You're basically a security guard. And if you tell them, right, tonight there is going to be a robbery, you need to keep on alert. That's exactly the same. You're like, they're constantly watching the cameras, they're constantly walking around outside, they're thinking something's going to go off and they're on high tension all night. But actually, no one came to burgle it. It was literally just a false alarm. And this is exactly the same as what's happening when you're eating your food. So then when it comes to the quail eggs, this was like the last and final thing. I think this is why I ended up with urgency and having to go to the toilet more, because I built it up after trying so many times that when it came to actually the quail eggs, I actually remember consciously thinking, oh, I really hope I can eat these eggs. I really don't want to react to them. I want to be able to eat quail eggs because I'm raising them, so I want to be able to do it. And I think that's what caused such a traumatic effect on it, the fact that I was so wanting to do it so much that within 10 minutes of doing it, I had a bad reaction. Within half an hour, it got even worse. And at this point, I'm proper stressing out. I'm really like, oh no, why have I done this? Why have I eaten it? Why have I decided to do this? I really shouldn't have done this. No, what have I fucking done? I can't even eat quail eggs. What am I doing? Which then obviously caused the stress, which caused the response in my bowels, which caused me wanting to go for a shit. Then, as I say, I found the German New Medicine. This here flipped the switch. It was literally like someone just went doosh. And it made so much sense that I was the person causing this, the reactions. I went to the shop that day, bought myself some chicken thighs, went home, cooked them, ate them, consciously thought about the thoughts I was having before and after. I literally said to myself, this food is nourishing. There's nothing in this food that can harm me. My body knows how to digest this food. It is bioavailable and it is the best nutrients I can get. And then afterwards as well, I was saying this repeatedly to myself. I was like, this food is amazing. This food is going to get me into a place where I can eat any food whatsoever. And you know what? I ate the chicken thighs, no reactions. I thought, this has got to be fluke. I did it then for a couple of days after. I thought, nah, this has got to be fluke, this. I'm going to try something else. Ended up getting some pork belly. Ate that. Once again, no reactions. I thought, this has got to be a fucking thing. Got some raw milk. Once again, no reactions. Finding out that you are the reason why you are causing all these symptoms is a bit of a kick in the bollocks. I'm not going to lie, it takes the fucking piss. But to know that you can change the way that you think about the food that you're eating and the way that you are consciously actually digesting it and consciously just realizing that the food itself, unless you've got some sort of intolerance or maybe an allergy to it, isn't the cause to why you are on such a restrictive diet. So my advice today is to really focus in on what you're actually thinking before and after you're eating your food. Is it you that's consciously making them symptoms up because you're so stressed, so fearful, so anxious that these are going to cause a flare? Now, I honestly know what it's like. You honestly feel like your life is over and you feel like, I can't do it. I'm only going to be able to eat rice, or I'm only going to be able to eat this, or I'm only going to be able to eat this for the rest of my life. But that is not the case. Now, I've been in clinical remission for 23 months. No blood, no urgency. And my course, which is in the top link in the description, goes into everything you could possibly think of. It goes into how to heal with the carnivore diet, which is actually basically healing your guts so you don't have the blood, the urgency, the mucus. Then it goes into the German medicine, the mind-body connection, which then you can get over these food triggers, the traumatic triggers, and it goes into exercise to help you feel amazing. Now, that's it for today, guys. If there's anything else you'd like to see, then put in the comments below, and I'll see you again soon.